Hello, it's me. Oh my God. Y'all, this is like blurry. Hold on. I think maybe it's my eyeballs. Hold on. I'm due for an eye check soon, so I don't know. Looks a little grainy. How are y'all? Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry I was a few minutes late. Um, as always, all readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only. I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. I did this really cool thing this morning. I hope everybody's well. And this might be like a little tippy tricky thing for you for releasing on the full moon. There's another person that is after. Let me do this. Hang on. There was Charlotte purchased one. So something I did this morning, and I think it might be kind of cool for you guys to try. So I did a cord cutting between one of my siblings and I because I've been really looking at what my limiting beliefs are and like what's holding me back. Hi, Ashley. And one of the things that holds me back is my fear of being seen. And you're like, well, you're on YouTube, but I think some of my limiting beliefs might be holding back my fear of growth, like why maybe I may subconsciously self-sabotage, all of that kind of good stuff. So I'm always looking at improvements. So, and I have this one. I have two sisters. I don't talk to either of them because, unfortunately, we grew up in a very dysfunctional home. And so there's still, some people still hold a lot of really dysfunctional behavioral patterns. And unfortunately, boundaries are not respected and all of that good stuff. So I'm sure lots of you have been there. I'm not holding any shame around it anymore. And my one sister is also mentally ill. And she has like terrorized me over the years, like to the point where I've gone in and I actually tried to get a restraining order because I had like this thick worth of printouts of terrible emails, and that didn't include the phone calls and the text messages and everything else. And she's mentally ill. I'd like to think she can't help it, but I think she can. Anyhow, we did a well check on her. It's a long story. Anyway, so I decided to do a cord cutting because she's been particularly nasty over the years. And I sent back everything. I was like, I am done. You can have it, all directions of time and space, all planes of existence, all timelines. This is all back to you. Thank you for the lesson. It's learned. I'm done with it. And then I went a step further. When I was in the shower, I decided to do a visualization technique. And so this might be something that you could do for yourself. So I visualized all of the people, big connections and smaller connections, where I felt like their judgments were taking up storage space. Say, pretend you have a giant storage locker. And so I just started emptying out my storage locker. Like, I don't need to hold on to this judgment anymore. I don't need to hold on to this thing that caused me to feel doubt or feel not enough or stupid or, that I'm not allowed to take up space, all of that kind of stuff. And I just started giving it back, and not always with kindness. Sometimes I was like, fuck you, here you go. This is yours. And for some people, it's like, yeah, we're friends, but like I allowed this space in our friendship for a long time. Hi, Shar. So I just started giving stuff back, and I realized I started feeling so much lighter and so much better. And it's not that all of these people are evil people, though some of them, I wonder. I was just like, I release this back to you. This is yours. You take that. You can, because so there's this one side of that we manifest everything we have is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. But a lot of those come from belief systems that are developed when we're really young. So I just started giving stuff back to family members too. Like, here you go. Take it back. I don't need this anymore. So that might be an interesting technique for you to try as you're doing this releasing for the full moon. Visualize the people and just give them back their packages, give them back their boxes, their giant pieces of furniture, of baggage and weight that they have been, allowed to take up space in your storage locker. You don't need it anymore. It's still spring. Clean it out, And that's what Scorpio is all about, transformation. So transform that energy, let it go. You don't have to be holden to that terribleness. So, okay, that's my spiel. That was like, it was like a nice energetic release. And try it. See if it works for you. Let me know. Come back next Sunday. Let me know how you felt. Let's see. I've got the list so far. I'm just double checking. I added. Okay, G, I got you now. I'll add you on here. Say hello if you're here. Give me a like. If you're not subscribed and you're new, welcome, welcome. I am also over on TikTok. I'm most active there, mostly because, I don't know, I am. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, should we get started? Miss Ashley, I got all of your emails. I don't do tarot. You know, I don't do tarot. But I did pull a couple tarot cards because I was like, why am I getting this wrong? What's going on? Timing is kind of funny. So I did do a reading for a woman privately. About a year. Hi, KK. About a year ago, I did a reading for a woman. And she came back about a month ago and was like, oh, you were right. You said I was going to move and I was going to get into a relationship. You know, I was going to meet somebody 3 months after I moved. And so, and then I'll stop with story time and I'll do readings. Sorry. But I think this is important. And this sort of kind of dovetails into Ashley's reading. So, she said that she met someone. She goes, well, so like the 3 months came and went, but it was like shortly after the 3 month period, I met someone and he's, you know, really wonderful. And we've been messaging. And so and this was after I connected her with her energy and gave her everything I got. And she validated the information I was giving her. And she said, well, I wanted to ask about this. And so I said, oh, and I got this message about what he thought. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, hold on. He sent me flowers yesterday. And she brings the note from the flower card and she reads it. And it's almost word for word what I told her. And I was like, oh, and then she started telling me more. And I just went, like red flag, red flag, red flag. And I was like, have you heard of, she's an older woman who's a widow. I was like, have you heard of catfishing? And I said, I don't know why I'm getting them so differently, but I cannot ignore this red flag feeling. I'm really, please, 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 please be in mind that like, if he gives you some sob story, please, like, just do not give him any money. Don't do this. Like, she's like, but he sent me, she was like, his email, he sent me his picture and his website. I was like, you can download anything. I was like, if you have not seen him on video, please, 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 please. And so, Dipti, at the top of the chat, I have, pinned the PayPal. You can go ahead and purchase a reading. It's $12.30. I'm going to donate to the ACLU. If you do not want to donate the money to the ACLU, I'd be happy to just say not to the ACLU, to Planned Parenthood. If you do not want to donate to Planned Parenthood, and I might have it wrong in the thing, but I'm going to do Planned Parenthood. If you don't want to donate to Planned Parenthood, then please let me know, and I'd be happy to donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Anyhow, so this woman, I was like, please, 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 like, just, I don't know why I got two different things. I don't understand it, but just please, like, do your due diligence. It's okay to ask for this video. And I said, and let me know. So she emailed me yesterday and was like, oh, wait, let me back up just a second. So that app, like, finished the reading, closed down Zoom. And I was like, what? Why would I'm feeling terribly guilty that I got something like disjointed, right? And like, why would I get that she's going to meet somebody and then it feels like it's a catfish? I'm like, oh, I don't know. This feels so yucky. And so I'm driving later on and her late husband decided to pop up while I'm driving. Don't worry. I'm a safety driver. It's okay. It's like having a conversation with somebody else in the car. It's not distracting, and probably less distracting than my children. And he was like, I knew she'd come to you for a reading. I saw this stuff coming down the road and I wanted her to come back and get the warning about this guy so he wouldn't take advantage of her. And I don't want you to tell her. Like, I was like, okay. He's like, because I want her to feel empowered, that she can trust her judgment. And then also to come back and know that, like, so she emails me yesterday morning as like, oh my God, it happened. Like, like he started asking for money, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, the only thing I lost was time, thankfully, not money, which I'm grateful for. And she's a very sweet woman. And I said, so by the way, your husband came to me later that afternoon after your reading, and this is what he told me. And he wanted you to know that he's always looking out for you. And it happened that way so that you can feel empowered and also to know that you're divinely watched over. And she said she was like, when she responded back, she was really grateful that if she could feel him around, and that really meant a lot. And I was like, please don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Anyhow, so that's my long story. And I say that because why am I getting it that you would get the answer and you would find out on Friday? And I don't know, but I know that you're going to get something. And then I pulled the cards. So I flipped the cards and I got Knight of Swords and Five of Wands. And to me, it just felt like, so I looked up timing, and I know timing is weird with tarot, so that's why you can't really, but it's like, it feels like it's coming quickly and coming. So it's like, don't worry about it. I know this is really easy for me to say to you, but it's like, when you think about manifesting and you think about something coming to you, when you're constantly like, why isn't it here yet? When's it going to be here? It's like, you're worrying about it. It's like, you've already got one offer. So you have to like, just stop worrying about it. It's going to happen. It's going to come. And I do feel like it's coming quickly. It's not something that's delayed. I also got this feeling when I was reading it that I'd like, it would be okay to contact them and follow up and say, I'm not to pressure you, but I'm really interested in this job, and I'd really like to take this job over my other one if there's a potential for it to be here. So that's the kid one that's closer to you. This isn't psychic, I feel like. I'm sorry. I just like, I almost feel guilty like not just giving you your money back on this, because, and this has come up for you before, it's like you get so nervous about it and antsy about it. But you got an offer from your first one. It's there. But it's also this feeling of like, it's okay to like contact them and say, they don't need to know that you don't have an offer. Just say, I'm really, really interested in this job and I need to know which way to go. But it's coming, and I just feel like it's not, you have to relax about it a little bit. I know that's easier said than done. And because at a point when you keep asking about the same thing over and over, it's like, I know what I got when I got it. And I know when I got, like, from the very, very beginning that you were going to get offered a thing. And this is like, I think this came up another time for you, where it's like, you're going to get it. You're staying. And then you kept asking about it. It becomes like, it's really hard for me to read the energy because all I can read is your anxiety at a point. And that's the honest to God truth. They're going to offer it to you. So I just feel like I keep answering the same question over and over, and it becomes to the point where it's like, it's very hard for me to read that. So if you want to ask a totally different question, because I feel like I shouldn't keep like, it's like beating a dead horse, where I'm like, all I start to read is your anxiety over it instead of like what I genuinely need. And then I start to also question. So it's like, I feel like I'm doing you a disservice by being like, no, like I feel like I have to say, like, I got what I got when I originally got it. Like, you're going to get offered 2 jobs. Like, there's going to be ones that are offered. You're going to stay there. You're going to get permanent residency. And the way it's funny, because now it's like what you're saying is conflicting to me too, because it's like, but you said you were offered it before. And now you're like, well, but technically I'm not offered it. Can you do me a favor and take 3 nice deep breaths? And I know it's like such a jerk face thing for me to do, but like, all I can feel this. I feel like they'll offer you a job. Hi, JJ. Is it possible for you to just decide that they're going to offer you the job? Just like sit in it, like they're going to offer me the job, like in that energy of like, when I originally read on this, I felt like I saw you doing extra tutoring on the side, and it feels like that might be where the adult thing comes in. I feel like you'll get offered by multiple offers, but I feel like it'll be the one that's closer to home that you end up taking. And I feel like I keep saying that. So I really, please don't ask me about this again. And I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but I feel like I get to this point where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting it the way I am. And I don't know, like, and anybody who sits there and goes, well, fuck those readers. But I'm telling you, like, I don't know why I'm getting it. I don't, it's like with that woman, I didn't know why I was getting the way I did. And I felt terrible. And I'm like, well, I'm really sorry. And it was like, if I hadn't said, I get this really wonderful message, she wouldn't have grabbed the letter and then started talking a little bit more about it. And I wouldn't have picked up the red flags to warn her. And then, like, everything sort of happens a certain way for a reason. And I just feel like I know you're going to get offered the job. I know it. I can feel it. And I saw it before. And what I actually saw you doing was having one job and then like tutoring adults in the like on the side. And it's not because I feel like you need the money. I feel like you like the money, like, and you have enough extra hours and stuff that you will. So the way I feel like it'll be would be you get the second, the job that's closer to home because you have the extra time. Whereas because you said before that the job you're working right now with the commute and everything else, you just have no free time. I know it's stressful. I'm not denying that at all. And so decide, like, and I don't mean to be like woo woo magical thinking, but fuck woo woo magical thinking, because you don't know that the negative is true. So why not just make the positive be the thing that you go to? And it's like, I get offered the job. I'm not going to worry about how I'm or who I'm offered the job. Just see yourself with that visa and that permanent residency status. Say, it's mine. I live here. I belong here. This is where I am. I'm a permanent resident. Imagine having a conversation with a random stranger and saying like, oh, I have my permanent resident here now. That's why I'm deducing that I think it's the kids one near home, because it feels like having more time. Sometimes they aren't very direct. I don't know why. I like when they're super direct. It makes my job easier. So I'm going to go back and read your thing for your second question. But don't ask me about the job again until you like know more, and promise me, because you're promising this for yourself, that you're going to start visualizing it in different ways. If you just stop worrying about which job, because sometimes that catches you up and feeling in the doubt. So instead, like where I said, remember when there's like 16 different Democratic candidates, and I was like, stop worrying about which one it's going to be. Just start like seeing it as a new president in, right? See the number 46 in there, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, see yourself on that day that you wake up with permanent resident status and be like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Like that imagine yourself checking your phone in the morning and seeing the date and be like, it's so amazing that I'm a permanent resident here. Or having a conversation with someone and telling them, like, or emailing someone or texting them, like, can you believe it? It came true. I'm a permanent resident. Everything just worked out perfectly. I have more time. Pretend like you're messaging me here. Like there's a million different ways to do it where you take out the factor of worrying about who you work for in order to visualize it. And you know, the thing, like when people are like, I saw something, they're like, it's toxic to teach people this, but look, the one thing that I'm like, that has been helping me like stick with like believing and manifesting and like when I'm in doubt of stuff is not that just that I have manifested stuff, but like there's CIA documents that have been released, I think back in the 80s that say like manifesting's real. And so I Google that and I read the documents a little bit. I'm like, okay, like I can, which is probably silly, but I don't know. Why does it stress you out when they want to talk to you about what they want to do? You're asking about Sebastian. I just wanted to look at the name on here. Check my payments. Pink Purple Hearts, you haven't been here in a while. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to read what she wrote because I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. Let's see. After Gia, I've also got Jihain. Is that JJ? I think that's JJ. And author. I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Fort Bronx. Okay. See, I remembered it. I used my noggin. Okay. So, so I guess I misunderstood. And I thought last week, Ashley, that you were saying that they for sure offered it already. And this is what was going on. So I was like, oh, that's weird that it came in. And I said they were going to come in late with the offer. Do you see how I could be confused? And I'm like, oh, now I'm questioning myself. And I'm like, you got to give it to me straight. I need like, so it will probably be, like I said originally, that they'll come in last with an offer and you'll get an offer from the other ones first. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll tell you where I feel like you're going to go. And I want to ask a question about what you wrote, because I didn't understand what you meant by the rank thing. Because I want to, if it's confusing to me, then I don't know how to push the information forward to them. And I don't know. Because I don't know the military that well. Okay. So about Sebastian, you said he's returning shortly. So it's this feeling of like, I don't know if this is 2 or 3 weeks from now or from when he comes in, but I feel like it's kind of quiet when he first gets back there. And I think it's just more him getting settled and seeing other people and getting settled in a living situation and just like the things that he has to do. But I feel like maybe text messages a little bit back and forth. And then it feels like maybe in the like second to third week is where you start to like talk a little bit more. But I also feel like you're like still a preoccupied. It's like developing sort of a friendship, and then it feels like it starts to develop into more, but it's like not just like, oh my God, I'm coming over right now. Like showing up your doorstep with his belongings, like I haven't even unpacked yet. Like I don't feel like that. I feel like it's sort of a like a slow, and you might even feel like it's a little lukewarm and you don't really like that and you're a little put off, but just relax about it because I feel like he's just getting settled and moving back in. Yeah. So it's just this feeling of like he's a little preoccupied, but not because he's not interested, just he's just got stuff to do. So just I think you've got enough on your plate right now. And it feels like he's like it's like more of a slow, comfortable move into a relationship rather than a and it doesn't feel like a booty call either. Okey doke. Okay. Yeah, but it feels like again, it feels like a slow thing. I do feel like it's more of a starts more as a friendship at first, and then it's sort of like it's not just like automatic, like let's get back together. It feels like really developing a friendship, like hanging out as friends for a while and just it 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 becomes more of a natural thing. A little bit healthier maybe than in the past. Um Every are you here, dear? Are you doing okay? Just a general? Okay. I keep like wanting to clear myself, y'all. Like, I don't let me see if this still has anything left on it. No, it's like a nub. Give me a second. I just want to see if I can find a little. I don't know why. I just feel like I need a little comb. My girls, whenever I'm like, I'm lighting a, they're like, what's that? Thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. I'm learning to not apologize for things I have no need to apologize for, but I just feel like I need to clear the space, the air. Nothing wrong with you, Ashley. It's just sometimes I feel like, okay. Okay. A little frankincense. Um, okay. All right. Here it is. Okay. So, Devery, general reading. Okay. I was sort of asking about some of the health stuff, like if that's gotten better. Is there something here? So I don't know if you have, maybe you have your hair, like you're in the middle of fixing your hair, or did you bump your head, or there's something there bringing me awareness here and awareness here. And then to my right knee. So this is the right side of my head, the back side of my, like, top of my left shoulder, my right knee. And then I also feel like, do you have asthma or something? Have we talked about that before? And they keep talking to me about clearing. It's clearing. It's clearing. Hi, Allie. Okay, I'll check in just a minute. Wait, you have sinusitis? Is it causing, like, do you have did you have a bronchitis or something? And do you have a tight muscle here? And did you recently, like, maybe even get a bruise on your knee? Did you have asthma as a kid? I'm just trying to figure out why they would bring my awareness to all those places and then also the lungs. And no, I don't feel like it feels like something that's clearing. It doesn't feel like anything bad. I just want to state that. You still have breathing issues, so that's why I would feel, maybe no. Okay. The feeling I keep getting is like there's almost like a sensitivity to mold. You moved, right? I'm not a doctor, but it might be something to look into, to look at like mold toxicity in your body. So maybe that's what they're talking about, is it's clearing. So it might just be some of the old stuff that is still like in your system and it's clearing out. So it might benefit you to like look at some holistic ways that people clear mold when they've been exposed to mold. Like different cleaning of all of your stuff, and also like your clothing and your bedding, and like getting stuff out of your furniture, and then also even out of your body. And it's going to sound super woo woo, but like look at frequencies and stuff. But also there's other ways of like supplements and stuff. Of course, make sure that they are safe for your medications. It's all like, I'm not prescribing, I'm just saying just look into this stuff and see if some of this works for you. Yeah, I just feel like, but I feel like it's not as bad, and I think it's because you're not getting the constant exposure. And I also feel like once this clears, like that fog and depression type feeling will start to lift as well. And like the anxiousness. There's I don't know if you're on TikTok. There's a couple of naturopaths that, and I'm sure they also have stuff here on YouTube of like naturopathic treatment for mold sensitivity, and it might be something worth looking into. But I do feel like your energy is a lot lighter than it was the last time we talked. Do you want to know anything more specific? Because that's where they wanted to focus on, was trying to help you in that way. Or, I don't know, questions about that. You know what, Gia, I think I actually forgot to put your name on there, but you're on there. They're showing me like in 30 days. So did they talk about like in the next month, that's when they're moving it or to hybrid? And I feel like you'll get that it'll be fine. And I actually feel like, so I feel like part of your resistance to going into the office right now is just not feeling really great. But I feel like you're going to start healing from all of this other stuff. So it's going to feel less of a burden or less of a like where you have to really motivate yourself and drag yourself to go in. And then so it becomes less of a resistance in doing that. So you may hear in the next like 30 days what like about that. But I feel like by the time that you are, you'll be okay with it. Like you'll be less resistant to it. You're very welcome, Beverly. Mallory, Linda, Charlotte, if you guys are here, you want to go ahead and please like and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome. This is a community that I've built over several years. It's not a huge page, but it is definitely a loyal group of people who are really wonderful. And I really appreciate all of you for always supporting me and being here. So thank you. Um, oh, I won't, Allie. Sorry, dear. There, you're on. Oh, and I left Deborah on there, but I just already got her. Okay, so all right, Mallory, what's going on with you? Do you have a dachshund? Is that the kind of dog you have? Because I hear like a little dog barking, but it's like got a big bark, and dachshunds have a big bark for a little dog. It's funny because I just feel like, so I keep hearing this dog barking, and it's like when a stranger is in the house or a stranger comes. So, and then I just keep hearing, I almost feels like Tony, but I'm not sure. It's like, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. But I feel like there's so much chaos. It's like, I feel like there's so much happening around him, and it's just like everything is, but it's like this reassurance of she'll be fine. So is there some kind of, are you getting a delivery, or are you, is there, it's just like there's a big, it feels like a big change or something. This is weird because it's like it's chaotic in the house. I feel like the dog's barking really loud. So I'm trying to figure out why he's showing this. And then I see chaos around Tony, and he's saying, like, she'll be fine. Tell her she'll be fine. Oh, he just barked when I said that? Okay. I guess maybe he felt my energy in there. Sorry, Buggy. I don't have Cash App. I have Venmo and I have PayPal. I probably should get Cash App, but I'm trying to keep the chaos to a minimum of my life. Who has three dogs? I'm just missing this. You just barked. Oh, your mom has surgery tomorrow. Okay. Okay. There, that's it. Because it's like there's chaos, there's movement all around. I don't understand. And like it's like just seeing things shifting, and then um did you say it's on her knee? No, I need to get my eyes checked. Holy shit. Fuck. Um she has wiener dogs too. Y'all, I mean they're cute, but holy shit, they're loud dogs. And also, I don't know about your dogs, but my sister had one. And it was not, he did not potty train well. She wasn't the greatest trainer. Her bladder. So, oh, so is she having a bladder sling done? And I say this because they showed me a knee and a sling like being elevated, like when they, you might know this, like where they do the bar across and then they like it's held up and elevated. So are they doing a bladder sling? Sounds weird. Yes. Okay, that's why they showed it to me that way. I'm like, what? Um, so it feels like it might just take slightly longer than it's supposed to or anticipated. And I just feel like for whatever reason it's difficult. So I don't know if he's gonna be running into like scar tissue, and so it makes it hard to like properly secure it or what. But like that's, I just feel like it takes a little bit longer, but so don't go into panic town when it doesn't, but it feels like she'll recover okay. I do feel like she gets a little wonky from the anesthesia. Like she gets a little, I heard mean and then I heard combative. Like it does not clear her system in a friendly manner. So when she's grouchy at the nurses, she can't help it. I feel like she may say some embarrassing things. Okay. Okay. So it just may take a little bit longer because of the scar tissue. And she may say some embarrassing things. So like, I feel like forewarn the nurses, like she's not the nicest when she comes out of anesthesia. I just feel like that's like, so maybe they can have something ready for her if she needs it. I do feel like it's going to be like she's sort of really sensitive, almost like Princess and the Pea, where she can feel the pea all the way down the end. And I feel like she's going to feel like either like an urgency or they're like, no, your bladder's empty. So she's going to feel something and it'll pass. But I feel like it's going to be annoying and irritating to her for the first like 72 hours. I don't want to say like it feels like she could feel the stitch or something. Like it's something weird, but like it will pass. Her body will relax into it. But I feel like it might, um, you know, make her also be irritable because she's noticing it. So I feel like she goes a little panics a little bit about it. She's very type A, and so it feels like does not like being in the element of not being in control. And so that's like making her fire on all like, but she'll be okay. And you'll be okay. And the dogs will be okay. They're just, dogs. Dachshunds are just their own. They are truly their own category of dogs. Okay. All right. Linda, you're very welcome. Thank you for trusting me. Anesthesia, strange stuff. I think that's what you meant to say. It's like after people have strokes too, like if they're not serious strokes, sometimes they're like ornery, not very nice. Oh, strong. I've only had anesthesia one time in my life. I tried breaking bones as a kid. I really wanted to cast because I'm a weirdo. Never worked. Like I told my kids, I was like, I jumped off roofs when I was a kid, and they were like, "What?" My kids are not daredevils at all. I was a tomboy. So my kids are like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm glad you're not. Like, don't do that stuff. Don't do the stuff I did." Okay. Linda, your neighbor question. Um, I don't know if it's this feeling of like a misunderstanding, like maybe something was said and like they took offense to it, but you didn't mean it that way. But and I don't feel like it was an argumentative. It was just sort of like an in passing, and it was the way you said it. They were like, I'm gonna say it this way. So I know your neighbors are melanin rich, and I feel like you have to understand that in the world we live in, they are essentially every black person, brown person is essentially suffering from generational trauma, PTSD. And the feeling I get is like, and particularly for the male neighbor that you have, that he is no tolerance, like no understanding, no tolerance that we as white people all have our blind spots. Okay, SB, check. And I don't think what was said was intentional, but I just feel like in the like he's just feeling, and it's not just you that he's had experiences with as of late. It's just feeling needing to protect themselves emotionally, mentally, energetically. So if you can not center it around you, doesn't matter. So maybe it was something that you said and he like to somebody else in the family and he was like, what the fuck did she mean by that? Like, I don't know. It's just a feeling I'm getting. It's the only thing I can tell you. Right. So I don't know. All I can say is like very protective, feeling like needing to like protect himself. I would not worry about it. I would not make it about you and just like like let it go, I guess is the best way I can say it. It doesn't feel like it's a combination of everything like I've been saying. Like it's not just you, it's everything. So imagine if, because we've all had our own trauma, right? So what if whatever, think about your trigger for your trauma, whatever that is. Now imagine like, and for most people with trauma, like their trigger doesn't come up all the time. But for people who have been oppressed and had systematic racism and everything else shoved against them generationally, now imagine that your trigger is there every day, all day long, like everywhere you go. That's what that's about. So it's like trying to find a way to feel safe and secure. Like that's all I keep getting around the fence is like it's not about you in particular, it's just about the world and the climate and finding safety. I do feel like something was said and it maybe it wasn't to him, maybe, but it feels like a conversation was had or something was said and you might not have thought twice about it, but it was something that was received in a way that you didn't realize. So you can either choose to, that's what I'm saying though, but it's not really like, you can either confront him and just say, did I do something to offend you? Because if I did, I'd like to know so that I can amend it. I'm really sorry. Or you can just not take it personally, that it's like something. I don't think that you did anything that would be, the feeling I get is just it was an unknowing slight. There's also that saying too where it's like I'm getting like this is where I get the mixed stuff. It's like there's that saying where it's like you can receive it or not receive it. If someone's not willing to come to you and say like, hey, it's not a relationship worth. I mean, I don't talk to my neighbors really. I talk to my rabbi neighbor. One of my neighbors got mad because I replaced a fence with a taller fence so that I could have a fence, like, because we have like a busy road kind of near the backyard, and I wanted a little bit more privacy. So I replaced the fence all the way around the yard so that it all matched. And he got really mad at me. And we were friendly neighbors, and he got really, but he has always been a little bit of a boundary pusher. Like, well, you should do this with your, you should do that. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. But always very nice. And he got pissed at me, and he was like furious. He's like, that was my fence. Put it back. I was like, it was not your fence. It's on my property line, and the inside faced me. It was my fence. But if you'd like me to pay for that fence to be put up on the property line, I will pay for somebody to come and put that chain link back in. I don't care. I'm not taking my other fence down. We haven't talked since. He's like mad about it. But that's his problem as far as I'm concerned. The feeling that I get is it wasn't something that you did overtly. It was like something that was said. It wasn't out and outright, but it was taken the wrong way, or taken in a way that you wouldn't realize that it was offensive. And there's people who won't directly deal with you. It's not you as a person. It's just like they don't have the capacity and the emotional maturity to confront a situation and like say it. Um, are they loud, rude songs, or are they songs that maybe he just likes that kind of music? I'm only saying, but like maybe he watches TikTok a lot, and have you heard that? It gets stuck in my head all the time. A, B, C, D, E, F, you, and your mom. It doesn't matter. Who are you to judge the kind of music he likes? You can't. Yeah. If you watch TikTok, that shit gets stuck in your head. I would let it go. Change that story in your head. It's not about you. If he watches TikTok a lot, he gets stuff stuck in his head. It doesn't matter. Fine. Just let it I'm telling you, I don't feel like it's really about you. I'm telling you what I get about it. It's not that I'm not believing you about your experience. I believe your experience is real, but I also feel like it's not really how you're receiving. It's like not really about you. And again, it's like whatever was said was either taken out of context or taken wrong. And again, it's like they're going to be more sensitive to certain things because of their lived experience, which has been that of oppression, which has been that of like not feeling like they're allowed in certain spaces where just because of their skin color. So if you can hold space for that and understand that, and like I feel like that changes it. Hi, Mojo. I don't like, I want to say like, oh, I see it getting better. It'll be fine. It's not that I see it getting better. I just see it becoming not an issue is the best way I can say it. Like, energetically, don't give anything to it and don't let it upset you. And I feel like it calms down. You aren't being bad. You aren't being a terrible person. It's just, again, I feel like we say things sometimes and we don't realize that it's like, I mean, I've done stupid shit and said stupid shit. Like I was looking because I wanted to do something that was more inclusive when I'm looking at ideas to sell. And I was sending something to my friend who's in the LGBTQ community. She's like, yeah, you can't use that. And I was like, why? She's like, because I wanted to use little people. And like all the only little people I could find was, I'm going to have to use a different thing and just draw my own little people. And she's like, don't use that. Use this instead because it just looks, I was like, oh, and it did not even occur to me. It wasn't like, that's how I saw it. I just saw it as little stick figures. And she's like, you can't use that. I was like, okay. Like, and they looked like bathroom symbols, but it's not what I wanted. That's not what I was looking for. It was just like the not bathroom symbols, but like the people. It sounds really bad even when I'm explaining it. And she's like, and thankfully, like I do check with her on stuff because I'm like, help me out here. Like I want to honor people where they're at, and I want to respect people and not be offensive. And so it just feels like whatever it was something that it wouldn't even occur to you. And that's okay but we can always do better, right? So it's like, oh, I like didn't even think of that. It didn't cross my mind because I've never been on that receiving end. So if we can all hold space for the fact that like it's okay for us to learn and grow and like not be like, and understand that maybe he's like, try not to give energy to it and it goes away is sort of the feeling I get. And try not to let it anger you. And like, who cares what music he listens to as a middle-aged man? I don't know. I mean, that just seems like such a strange thing to say that you have to be a certain age to listen to certain music or it doesn't fit you or whatever. You know? It doesn't feel like it's going to be terrible forever, okay? I don't have the right list, so I want to make sure I have it right. Yeah, Allie. Let me see if somebody else paid. Hang on just real quick. Charlotte, did you have a question? And then SH, is that you after Allie? SB. Okay. What state does she live in? Does she live in a friendly state? a weed-friendly steak. I just giggled. I was like, get some golden seal, but like, yeah, I do feel like she'll get it. Is she worried about weed showing up in her urine? Or do they have medical, is it medical marijuana? Like what, like what's, I don't know why I'm asking it this way. Well, I do know I'm asking it. So it feels like that might show up, but I feel like they don't, it feels like it's whatever reason, it's just a non-issue. Let me look at PA. Oh, don't do that. Don't use her for the test. Tell her to go get some golden seal. I've never used it, but I know people have used it and it's cleared it just fine. Golden seal. You can get it at, I'm pretty sure, Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods. But yeah, I feel like they'll hire her. I feel like it'll be fine. And to drink lots of water. Just read how to clear it from your urine. Drink lots of water and take the golden seal. But she'll be fine. But don't do the switcheroo thing. I feel like that's a disaster. Listen, they need people working for them. The other thing is New Jersey just went legal. So her other excuse could be, I went to New Jersey and I legally had some. So, I mean, so there's no reason that it couldn't legally be in her system and that be her. I was in New Jersey for the weekend and I had some, so it might show up. That could clear her too. States are going to start running into, especially states that are in surrounding states of those that are legal, are going to start running into issues of doing drug testing and things like that for things that are legal in other states for people that are 21 and up. They're going to run into issues where they're not going to be able to, like, that can't be a valid thing. And if they withheld employment because of that, I'm fairly certain you could legally pursue that because of that being the case. But tell her to get so that she feels better, tell her to get the golden seal and drink a lot of water. And she could just say, like, just if this shows up, this is why. And then she's being honest. But they need caregivers. So I don't feel like that's going to be the thing that stops her from getting hired. Like, in desperate need of caregivers. She'll be fine. Not that I'm trying to tell you how to, like, but I mean, it just seems like such a stupid thing to test for anymore. Honest to God. And I would tell her, don't use you. That feels like that will seriously go pear-shaped. That will not. Like, that feels like no. It just feels like actually her best. Like, if I look at it going either way, it feels like the best is to, like, do the golden seal, drink a lot of water, and also then mention it, like, hey, by the way, I just want you to know this may show up and here's why. And I feel like the leniency is different. Like, if they're like, first of all, they're super desperate for people to work as caregivers. They are so short staffed. But also I feel like it's like that becomes a non-issue because of it. Okay, JJ, Fort Bronx. You're up. If you want to go ahead and type your question, JJ, that's fine. Starting a salary job. Oh, you were asking about your person. Can you just leave me a first name? Is that okay? I've done cold calling before. Well, it's not true cold calling. So when I was in college, I worked for a calling center for the Republican Party when I lived in Eau Claire. And I remember having to call one time and ask for 50, like a first ask for 50K. And I was like, ooh, because when I was in college, like my rent was like 300 or 400 bucks a month. Like we were like, so 50 grand ask was like, yeah, I didn't last at that job because I like at this like just first of all, yeah, I didn't last at that job very long. um, I get like it's funny. I feel like you end up trying it, but it only lasts like a week or two, and it's like it just becomes not worth it. But I feel like you try it just because you're sort of one of those people that's like, I'll never know unless I know. Yeah, it's just it is. It sucks. It's hard. Like if you've done it, it's hard. I've done a lot of weird like a lot of I worked at a lot of different jobs. Like when I quit, they did the thing where they're like, you can just leave today. I gave them 2 weeks and they're like, you can just go today. I was like, okay. Like you're not really doing much for us, honey. It's okay. Go ahead. I was not a big commission earner. And I think I'm terrifying all the people who are trying to buy houses. Like I keep getting calls from realtors like, are you in the mood? Are you in the property or whatever, the market to sell your house? I'm like, stop calling. Leave me alone. Because we live in a fair, like an area closer to a train, a direct train line into the city. And like, yeah. So what I feel like is doing it like for a week, like it feels like you try it because you're one of those people that's like, well, I mean, what if I could make a lot of money off of it? And then it's calling realtors. So it just feels like, what if I could make a lot of money off of it? And then not really like, it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze kind of thing. It's like, I made some money, but it's like not worth keeping it. Like I'd rather do something else. I do feel like your salary job will go really well though, by the way. You're welcome. Okay, JJ. So let's look at Wasm. I'm gonna just go back and look at what you wrote on in the letter to me, just because sometimes that gives me a little. So I feel, JJ, I feel like he has a little bit of interest, but I do feel like your friend sort of embellishes a little bit, like to try and encourage it. I don't know if he's thinking marriage yet. I just think he's thinking like, yeah, I like her and I enjoy spending time with her and I think she's pretty, but I don't know that he's like, I'm gonna marry that woman. Like a movie. It's like I think I just met the person I'm gonna marry or spend the rest of my life with. I don't think it's that. I think it's like he enjoys your company and he thinks you're pretty and he thinks you're attractive. And I do feel like wanting to get to know you better, but I also feel like your friend embellishes a bit. Does that make sense? Or does that resonate for you? Pink Purple Hearts. Okay, I have to read this because I think it's so good. And I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit because whatever. Says, hi, Annalisa. I just want to let you know that you are amazing and I admire your work. In the past, you have been 100% right about my move to Japan. I was so anxious to find out if we got approved to move to Japan back in 2020. You made me feel at ease. Unfortunately, with the military, I am once again a little anxious about what's to come. So here are my questions. Will my husband pick up rank in the military this year? Do you mean by will he, I'm guessing like, will he get a promotion? Yeah, I think that's why I'm looking at it. And will he re-enlist for another 4 years? And where do I see you moving when you leave Japan? So promotion, yes. Okay. So I do feel like he'll get a promotion. But it feels like, so it might be the same title, but one up. So like, I don't know, like if you had like I don't know, like it'd be like a level 2 person in that same, like, so if you were like a corporal, I don't even know what these are. So like laugh away at me, but it'd be like a level 2 one instead of a level 1. Or if you were, I don't know any of the other things because I don't know the military at all. Okay, staff sergeant. So it's like, it feels like whatever I do, it's like that title, but like one up from there. I do feel like he'll sign up for another 4 years. And what's interesting is I feel like he's going to Guam. And that was like so like Guam. And I feel like I kept seeing an island nation. And would it make sense for him to go to Guam? Like, is that even on the radar? You don't want him to sign up for another 4 years? I feel like he really likes it. Like so I feel like he really likes the military. Hawaii and Guam. I feel like it'll be Guam. So that's also like toot my own horn there. Because that's random out of the whole entire world to pick that. I guess my grandfather, I think, was stationed in Guam for a while. I feel like he really likes the military. I feel like he really likes the structure that it gives him, that's really good for his brain to have that structure. So it's like almost like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have such a regimented life. Like he may have ADHD, and so that's why it's like feels really good to him. I actually had a client who I gave a reading to. She was asking about her daughter. I was like, I think your daughter might have ADHD. And she's like, oh no, she was in the military. I go, yeah, the military was very regimented and like she had to follow like a routine and be very organized. So it worked really well for her. And now that she's not out, like so it's like that feeling of like, it gives him a sense of peace in his brain to know like the structure of his life and how it is. And this is how we do everything. Yeah, I think that he gets the promotion. I think that's amazing that you're so supportive. So come back and let me know if we were right about this. When will he find out if he gets the promotion? Okay. I know I could have used my spidey senses to do that, but it's easier asking the obvious, right? Okay, Gia, Allie, or SB, you guys can ask your questions. I get it. It's okay to be impatient. Why do you think we all ask psychics questions? I go to them for the same reason. Guilty, guilty, guilty. To find a decent job. So this is kind of funny the way they gave this to me. I actually feel like it takes a year, but it's not a year before you're actually working. But I feel like you take a job in the meantime and then another one comes in that's like the job you really want, but it takes a year after you move to get that job. So it's not like, again, I feel like you have a job, you'll have a job pretty quickly. I'd say they're showing me 2, so I'm feeling 2 weeks, but could be 2 months, but I don't think it's that long. I think it's 2 weeks. So it feels fairly quickly that I get a job and just have something, but I'm not in love with it, but I have it because I like the security of having the income. I do feel like you have a little nest egg, so you would be okay for a little bit without a job, but it feels like I'd rather just have a job and have money coming in and still look for something better. And then a year after you move is when you find the what you're calling a decent job. I feel like is a or the way they're showing me is like the good job, the one I really want. You're very welcome. Okay, Allie, I had a dream about having long hair. I'm getting two things on this, to be honest with you. Oy. Okay, so the first thing I get is, and they're a little bit different, but I actually feel like it's like before you went to bed, you were asking for like what to dream about what it would be like when you're doing X, Y, and Z, or when you have that job or when you're working. It's like you saw yourself with longer hair in the dream. So it's like maybe you didn't see exactly what you thought you would see, but like that long hair stood out. So I feel like when you are finally where you feel like you'll be successful or working, whatever, you will actually have long hair. So I'm giving this as an example, but there's another part to the long hair I want to talk about. So when I wanted to come to New York as a travel nurse, I started asking my guides to let me have dreams about what it would be like when I get there. Like, what will I see? And I had dreams about an apartment that was my apartment, but it wasn't the apartment I was living in. So I was like, that's weird. And then I started having dreams about curling my hair, but like with my fingers. And I'm like, I have curly hair. Why would I curl my hair? A, because I used to be the scruncher. Um, scrunch. If you have curly hair, you understand. But when I came to New York, I went like they always have these people selling deals on this street, and there was like one was like 5 haircuts for 125 bucks. And I was like, like I'll do it because my whole thought was like, one, I could pay that much, and like I've had shitty haircuts before. Hair grows out, like whatever. I'm not one of the people that gets traumatized by bad hair. I just don't like. I'm weird, and so. But they taught me how to do my hair where you take like curling cream, right? And you take a section, and you put some curling cream on and you curl your hair up. And that's what I had a dream about was like actually fixing my hair that way. That said, so it feels like there's a little bit of a premonition part to that. But the other part to that too is also like that you're going to be stepping into your own divine feminine where you feel safe to be seen fully and wholly as you. Like, I don't have to hide. Um, in order to feel safe and secure. Like I can just be me, who I'm divinely meant to be, all whole, authentically me, and I'm safe to do it. And I feel strong enough to protect myself doing it. So there's a lot around um, feeling safe to be authentically you in your divine feminine energy. So it feels like maybe I dress in a little bit baggier clothes, or what someone would consider more gender neutral clothes, and more like, not really flashy, not lots of makeup. Maybe my hair is a little bit shorter, and like, not that I don't take care of myself, but I just try not to be seen or stand out. And it's sort of like this, like, you're going to get to this point where it's like, you're going to let your hair grow long. You're going to be okay standing out and shining your brightest. So there's the metaphorical and there's the literal aspect of it. I mean, I've really had some bad haircuts. Like, I had a bad haircut. This guy one time, you're letting your hair grow, and today, and I feel a little bit more different. Yay! I had a haircut once where I went in to get it fixed finally, and I was like, so this guy cut my hair, and she's like, he gave you like 2 haircuts. Like, it literally was like short and then like long. It was like weird. And then I was like, I think he was drunk when he was cutting my hair. So yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. I've had some bad haircuts. It's cool. I'm thinking like there's men who've had frosted tips and wore those proudly. So, okay, you know. All right. Let's see. SB, are you still here? We've dwindled down to just a few people. So I hope that's helpful. Did you ask? May I validate? Did you ask? I'm going to answer that, SB, I promise. Allie, had you happen to ask to have a dream or whatever to connect with spirit about that? Yes, Miss Deborah, you can. Of course. I would be happy to do that for you. I do actually see you reconciling. It feels like it's a couple of months, right? So it feels like it's so it might have been a couple of months now since you separated. And then it feels like another couple of months. And it's honestly like, you're like, he needs time to get his head out of his ass. Like, literally, that's what they said. Like, he needs time to get his head out of his ass. When I look at the discord in your relationship, it looks like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like what happens is like sort of on your part feeling not seen and not valued, like sort of you're fighting for him to see you and value you the way he did. And he's sort of caught up in his own ego. And like all the work and everything else. And I feel like you're just, and so he sees that as just another, like he's just not valuing you the way he should. Right. So I don't see cheating or anything like that. That's not what I see. I see a lack of understanding of like the work you and what you bring to the table versus what he brings to the table. And I feel like he's sort of in his ego. Um, I don't feel like a lot of people around him tell him no. And I don't feel like you're asking for anything like substantial. I feel like you're like, hey, I don't, it's like funny because it's like you don't, I feel like he gets you nice gifts, but you're like, I don't, they're nice, but really I'd like your time and your attention and your energy. And I feel like he doesn't understand that that's your love language. So a huge part of it feels like a major disconnect in how we can, how we, me and you, I mean, him and you, the two of you, because I'm trying to sit in the energy of the relationship where it's like the disconnect is in love languages and how we communicate. And I feel like he sees the fight that you're putting up as too much, and you're sort of like, I'm fighting to keep you around. And like when I go silent, and you've seen this on, I'm sure you guys have seen this on, or you're a woman, so we, it's like you want me in the fighting mode. You don't want me in the silent mode. I don't give a shit because that means I'm done. I've shut myself down. And he doesn't see it yet. So I feel like it takes him about 2 to 3 months to get his head out of his ass. And I think what happens is because not because you're mean and nasty and terrible to him, but because you're just like, whatever you want to do, you go do it. Like you, like it's just like I'm not allowing myself to be emotionally sucked in, and you're gonna go and be like fill up your stuff and do your like focus on your self-worth and your value. So when they talk about your self-concept, right? So it's like that I am valuable, I am worthy, I do deserve to be seen. And so like instead of telling the old story where it's like he doesn't see me, he doesn't value me, he doesn't, make up another story in your head and just be like, he sees what a badass I am. Like I am a badass. I deserve all of this. So it's like you working on your self-concept is like taking the focus on him and what take it off of him and what he's doing and how he's being, and just you do you and be you. And I think that's what pulls his head out of his ass. But it feels like it takes a couple months to do that. I mean, it is. You know, when I say this with all the love in the world because I've been in all these, it's like our world does show up as a mirror of ourselves, but it's not a mirror of who we are as a person. It's not like you're not worthy or deserving, but if we believe we're not worthy or deserving, then that's what shows up constantly. So it's like just focus on you and do you. Do the affirmations, do not spend your time thinking about how he did everything wrong and all of that stuff. Don't waste any space in your brain for that. You just don't have time for that because you've done that. He's taken up enough of that space. Just focus on you. Be polite. Be nice to him. Be cordial. Whatever, when you talk about the kids, it's just all about the kids. Like, oh, okay, well, have a great time. Oh, I hope you had fun at your thing last night. Like, just nice, like you would a friend, or, because the truth is, regardless, even though I see you getting back together, you got kids. So you got to do that. And the reason why you keep getting the repeated messages is because that's how the universe talks to us, right? I also feel like he spreads himself thin so he doesn't have to really deal with his own emotional crap. It makes him feel valuable to be busy. Like, it's sort of that feeling of like, if I don't have all of this going on, am I enough? Yeah. And I don't feel like it's interesting because I don't feel like it's a lack of love that created the separation. I just feel like it was on both parts, not like you were on the hamster wheel and everything was always the same and there was no change or movement. So it was just like, we can't keep going in like this. It doesn't work. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Come back and let me know if that happens. Give us some validation. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. And I'm going to say goodbye because I think everybody got their questions answered. You are most welcome. Thank you for trusting me with your question, SB. I appreciate it. And oh, Deborah, you wanted another question. Deborah, are you here? Deborah, are you still here? There you are. Jesus. I'm sorry. First of all, that's awful. I'm getting so I I do feel like she passed. I do feel like there was a lot of drinking going on. Um, and I feel like getting hit. Like that's the feeling I get. But then she showed me something where it's like almost like I'm seeing like you know how in movies they show like fire on the ground, but it's like just like a little line of it. Like that's what I keep seeing. I always feel like she's making me feel like sorry, some of the words came out wrong. She makes me feel like she always had like a story. You know how there's some of those people that they come up and they have like the craziest stories. I do feel like she did pass. So yeah. So did she often have like some really crazy stories? Because that's like I feel like she came in and she's like, "You're never gonna believe what happened," and then it's like this whole story, like, and it's like you couldn't write this if you wanted to. That's the kind of stuff that happened to her. it feels like it's quick, like whatever it is, it's like I don't feel like I feel out of it. I feel like I turn and then I'm done. I'm out. So it feels like it's a very quick thing. It's not something that was like I was gone. Like it was very real. I was very dead. And I feel like maybe it's a little vague because I feel like the people that were with her were not totally sober. So that's why some of the details are not very great. And I also feel like people withholding because they don't want to get in trouble, would she joke that like she's making me, it's funny, it's like the energy of like, you know how Leslie Jones has these great, the way she tells stories is like really, I love Leslie Jones. Like that's the energy I feel off of her. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm trying to figure out why she'd show me like the fire on the road. So maybe they like, maybe she's showing me like the peeled out, like a like tire, you know, like when they show you in movies like goofy things, it's like they took off so fast they like left fire. Like, you know, Back to the Future. I don't even know what the hell this means. I feel like they're fine. I don't feel like anything happened to them. Yeah, I feel like they're fine. It feels like it was like her and maybe, you know, like it, I feel like the story is a little sketch because they don't know. I I don't think they have all the details because they weren't totally sober, and also I feel like people not wanting to get in trouble. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say adieu. Um, I'm sorry again for your loss, Devery, and I hope you all have a great week. See you next week. Bye.